What if Roman Reigns has been looking in completely the wrong direction? Because while Roman has been worrying about Jacob Fatu, Solo Sikoa, the Usos, and the endless war for control of the Bloodline, there may be another threat hiding in plain sight. A man carrying the bloodline of one of the most feared wrestlers ever to step inside a WWE ring, Haku. And if WWE decides to unleash the full power of Haku's family against Roman Reigns, the bloodline could have a problem it simply cannot solve. Now, before we go any further, let me make one thing absolutely clear. There is no official WWE confirmation that Haku has a secret new monster coming to attack Roman Reigns. This video is a storyline theory built around confirmed WWE facts, current bloodline developments, and one massive question: what happens if Haku's family decides that Roman Reigns has gone too far? Welcome back to the ring. And trust me, you are going to want to hear this one. Roman Reigns may still be one of the most dangerous men in WWE, but his greatest strength has always been his family. And right now, that family is becoming incredibly complicated. WWE's current story has Roman Reigns attempting to keep control of the bloodline while Jacob Fatu has become one of the most unpredictable forces in the entire situation. WWE previously established that Roman and Jacob were on opposite sides of an explosive tribal combat rivalry before Jacob was eventually forced into Roman's bloodline. But the problem is, Jacob Fatu is not exactly the type of man you can completely control. He's dangerous, he's emotional, and he's powerful enough to change the entire balance of WWE with one attack. Then there's Solo Sikoa. Solo has repeatedly refused Roman's attempts to bring him back into the family, and that creates an enormous problem, because when people inside the family stop listening to the tribal chief starts losing control. And that's exactly where Haku's family enters this story, because WWE has already shown us what happens when Haku's sons enter a bloodline war, and it isn't pretty. Let's talk facts. Tama Tonga is officially recognized by WWE as the son of legendary WWE competitor Haku. Tonga Loa is also officially identified by WWE as Haku's son. And now there's another major name, Talla Tonga. WWE describes Talla as the powerhouse of the MFTs and identifies him as the hulking brother of Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa and the son of Haku. And here's the crazy part. Talla Tonga is listed at 6'9" and 265 pounds. That isn't just another member of the family. That's a physical problem. A huge physical problem. And WWE has already been presenting Talla as a dangerous powerhouse. So imagine for a second that the story changes. Imagine Roman Reigns believes he's finally stabilized the bloodline. Jacob Fatu is under control. The Usos are beside him. Solo is no longer an immediate threat. Roman thinks he's won. Then suddenly, the lights go out. The arena becomes silent. And when they come back on, standing behind Roman is a man nobody expected. A massive figure. A descendant of Haku's wrestling legacy. And Roman realizes something terrifying. This isn't a bloodline reunion. It's a bloodline invasion. You have to understand why the Haku name works so well in this story. WWE itself describes Haku as one of the most intimidating and toughest competitors in WWE and WCW history. He competed as King Haku in WWE. He later became Meng in WCW. And his reputation was built around one thing: violence. Haku wasn't presented as somebody who needed 10 people behind him. He was the guy who could walk into a room and make everybody else uncomfortable. And that's exactly why a storyline involving a secret Haku monster could work. Because Roman Reigns understands family. He understands power. He understands intimidation. But Roman also understands something else: you never underestimate a member of the family you don't know. And that could become his biggest mistake. Because Roman has spent years fighting people from within the Anoa'i family. But what happens when another wrestling dynasty decides to enter the war? Now here's where the theory gets interesting. What if Haku secretly trained one final monster? Not necessarily a brand new wrestler. Not necessarily someone WWE has officially announced, but someone who has been watching, someone who has been learning, someone who has been waiting. The wrestling world already knows that Haku's legacy has produced multiple dangerous competitors: Tama Tonga, Tonga Loa, Talla Tonga. So imagine WWE taking that legacy and creating a storyline around a mysterious fourth threat. Call him the Master Beast. Not because that's an official WWE nickname. It isn't. That's the fantasy concept. But imagine the presentation. No entrance music. No warning. No long promo. Just destruction. He appears after Roman's match. Roman turns around. Boom. One massive strike. Roman drops. The bloodline rushes toward the ring. Boom. Another member gets taken out. Jacob Fatu charges forward. The monster doesn't move. Jacob hits him. The monster absorbs it. And then, Jacob gets dropped. Now the crowd understands. This isn't another bloodline member. This is something completely different. And here's where reality becomes even more interesting, because we don't actually need to invent a brand new person for WWE to create this kind of storyline. WWE already has Talla Tonga, and WWE has been building him as a powerhouse. The company describes him as the powerhouse of the MFTs and highlights his incredible strength and intimidating presence. So here's the question: could Talla Tonga become the monster that Roman Reigns never saw coming? Think about the possibilities. Roman versus Talla. Jacob Fatu versus Talla. The Usos versus Tama and Talla. Solo Sikoa caught between his family and the men who once stood beside him. And suddenly, the entire bloodline story becomes bigger than Roman. It becomes a war between generations. And that's where WWE could create something special. Imagine Roman standing in the middle of the ring. He looks around. Jacob is down. G is down. Jimmy is trying to get back to his feet, and Roman sees Tama Tonga and Talla Tonga standing across from him. Roman slowly raises the microphone. He says, "I am the tribal chief." The crowd erupts. Roman looks at Tama, then Talla, and says, "But I don't fear you." Silence. Talla steps forward. Roman smiles, and then Talla says, "You should." Boom. The fight begins. And suddenly WWE has a completely different kind of bloodline story, because Roman isn't fighting somebody who wants his championship. He's fighting somebody who wants to destroy his authority. That's the key. Titles can change hands. Championships can be won and lost. But respect, family, legacy, those are much more personal. And that's what makes this potentially dangerous for Roman. But here's the twist I think could make this storyline absolutely insane. What if Haku's Master Beast isn't coming for Roman? What if he's coming for everybody? Think about it. The bloodline has been fighting itself for years. Roman against Solo. Roman against Jacob. Solo against Jacob. The Usos caught between different sides. And now Tama and Talla have already moved on from Solo's group. WWE's current story has the Tonga brothers forging their own path after separating from Solo Sikoa. So what if the next chapter isn't who controls the bloodline? What if it's who controls the entire Samoan Tongan wrestling dynasty? That changes everything. Because Roman could suddenly realize that his biggest threat isn't one man, it's an entire generation. And if WWE wanted to take this all the way to a major premium live event, they could build Roman Reigns and the Usos against Haku's legacy. Roman and Jimmy, Jacob Fatu, maybe even Solo, against Tama Tonga, Talla Tonga, and potentially one mystery monster. That is not just a match, that's a family war. Now, let's separate the facts from the fantasy. Fact number 1, WWE officially identifies Haku as a legendary former WWE and WCW competitor. Fact number 2, WWE officially identifies Tama Tonga as Haku's son. Fact number 3, WWE officially identifies Tonga Loa as Haku's son. Fact number 4, WWE officially identifies Talla Tonga as Haku's son and a major powerhouse. Fact number 5, WWE's current bloodline story is already dealing with Roman Reigns, Jacob Fatu, Solo Sikoa and the Usos in a constantly shifting power struggle. But